Hello, YouTube. We got a bounce today. It is nice. It is appreciated, but we want to know whether or not this is a rip for selling. So if the rip is here, do we take advantage to sell it or do we buy? We got a big short report update from Michael Burry. But first, we're going to look here to our seasonality chart because if we look nice and close, we note that this is the period where we start to really go sideways. I've been talking extensively about this 50-day moving average and how it cannot be lost. What do we have? High, lower high. Very simple. What do we have here? We got a high, higher high, higher high. So what does that mean? Well, we can make progressively higher highs before we ultimately get our fat sell, and then we close the month out by rallying. That is what the seasonality chart really tells us here, right? Go higher, ultimately form our lowest closing low, and then rally back up for the end of the month. So as of right now, I could see this still being intact, and there's a little bit more evidence because as we look here to QQQ or the Qs, we're now back above that 50 DMA. So stay tuned, and we're going to talk about this one as well. First of all, we want to talk about Michael Burry because he's making a sizable bet. What do these eyes know that we don't? Burry, famous big short, bought bearish options on the SPY stock and QQQ stock. How much? Just a cool notional value, or we're talking about the value of the puts that he bought here of 739 million and also 886 million. So that's going to be very interesting. And let me just bring up this last graph here because I do want to compare it. And I'm actually going to go through and try to identify that strike that he is buying because it's not being disclosed. A lot of people updated their portfolios today, but I think I found it. So stay tuned. And at the end of the video, we will go through the big strike for the big Michael Shorey, the big short. But just before we do that, I'm going to ask you for a huge favor. If you could please consider smashing that thumbs up and subscribing to the channel, that would be greatly appreciated. And the reason I ask is because we do put out stock market videos every single day, and we would just love to have you part of our group. All right, let's go in. So we talked about, let's now go to QQQ. Let's look at that seasonality chart and see whether or not there are any clues here, right? All right, let's delete. Let's look. Let's just first of all note here that we're actually closing above our 50 DMA. So what I noted on the weekend was that, well, we're closing 3 daily candle closes below the 50 DMA. Well, now we got one back above. If you remember what I said, not that this is a hard and fast rule, it's more of a rule of thumb. 2 daily closes below or above an average can generally signal a trend change. This right here might have been a trap. If we now close tomorrow green, and then we also keep going green into the end of the week. Notably into Wednesday when we got those FOMC meeting minutes. So if we have a look here at the calendar and we think about, okay, well, if we had a bearish narrative coming into this week, but we're not seeing the evidence on the tape, at what point do we know we're wrong? Well, I would think that Wednesday close is going to be a very logical day for us to look at that. We got the FOMC meeting minutes coming out. And other than that, there's not really all that much data this week. It really comes down to next week. So if this week we're looking for some progressively higher highs where we go high, a little bit higher, but really don't make very much progress. Well, yeah, we could be going higher. So today would be the first day. Then we got Tuesday. Then we got Wednesday. So if the goal is to sell the rip, at least now you know what we're looking for. We don't want to be closing back above the 50 DMA. And what we definitely don't want to see is we don't want to see a hollow candle by the end of the week. If we look here nice and close, if this is where we are right now, well, we close the week out a little bit lower or basically unchanged. What does that mean? Well, if we're going to close hollow, that's one thing. If we print a weekly higher high, that's something different because now we're going to be back above that math number of 375.66 or roughly 376. Last week's high, 375.29. So if we manage to print a weekly higher high and close up there, man, I might have been wrong. Might have been a trap. And that's the beauty about this market is that the only thing that's for sure is that nothing's for sure. So I'm actually grateful for the rip because I personally want to sell it, right? I want to sell the rip. I want to get in. I want to get in for that upside opportunity on going short. And if we look here to the S&P, last week's high, 451.7. So we have an inside bar. We don't have a higher high yet. But if we go to a higher high, like we're going to be back above this area. Look at the high of the week from last week, 451.7. So which means if we go to a weekly higher high, we will be back over the math number. I'm starting to question whether or not we're really going to get that bigger drop. Maybe the seasonality chart is the boss, and that's going to drive us here. But if we understand this template, I've been talking about it a lot. So if you're bored of it, just tell me in the comments. I would love to know. Michael Burry thinks right now is the optimal time to get short, right? Hundreds of millions of dollars in notional value. But we're going to have to find out what he's actually purchasing. We'll keep this handy here for after. All right, here we go. if we're going to sell the rip, what are we looking for? Well, if this time's different, it might be different, but every time we follow the recipe of multiple weekly lower lows, notably 2 with a weekly lower low closing below, but the third candle was always red, 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 red. That's the correction here. So if we now look close, we can also understand that at parts during the week, like here, going back to March, which is the period I'm kind of comparing to right now, what happens? Whoa, we form a massive upper wick. So let's actually go to SPX here and see if we can find that chart. SPX, let's go to a 1 week chart. So we're pointing to these different areas here. But as we're looking to April 18th right here, which I'm showing with yellow, we go to a higher high, but then, man, we crush it and we get a bearish engulfing candle. So what does this mean? It means during the part of the week, the bulls look like they're winning. Why? Man, they've got the higher high, right? They got the higher high here. They print a weekly candle high. Might be hard to see, but it basically just means that the wick goes over the previous candle, but then it becomes a bearish engulfing. By definition, we have to go to a higher high. We have to go to a lower low, and we have to close below the low. That's how we get a bearish engulfing candle. So, like, could that happen this week? Bearish engulfing? Absolutely. What's the catalyst? Well, I would assume it's going to be the Fed minutes. I don't know for sure, though. So that's what I'm unsure about. That's the part that's missing here. We have to go for a third consecutive week red. We're only going to know that on Friday. So if we're short, do we have the balls to hold on till Friday? No, we're wrong. Are we willing to go through some pain where we look like we're a little bit silly, but then ultimately are successful? That's what I don't know. So we don't know we're right. We don't know if we should hold on. There's a lot of I don't knows here, right? I wish I could give you a black and white answer, but what I can do, again, I'm going to do a plug here. If you want to come join us for 14 free days and trade with me, Justin from YouTube, you can see exactly what is in my account, what is in my portfolio, and how I'm not saying, well, here's what I think I should do. Well, here's what I am doing. You can see exactly what I'm doing for 14 free days. And if you don't like it, quit, cancel, leave, don't come back. No hard feelings. All right. So fear and greed only picked up 1 point. I don't think that's enough for this percent gain on the day today, but let's keep going forward. There's a little bit of bullish news. So here we're seeing that the first details of NVIDIA's RTX 50 series Black Whale GPU is leaked online. What happens? Man, NVIDIA's here to plunge the S&P. It is plunging. It is plunging. It is plunging. That's the plunge protection team or the anti-dip team. They're here to buy the dip. What's notable about NVIDIA too, I think I mentioned it on Friday, we back tested that $1 trillion valuation and we're bouncing. All right, let's look at NVIDIA. Let's see if it's still the boss. Yep, back above the 50 DMA here. So we had 3 daily candle closes below. Exact same note on QQQ. 1 day back above. I don't think that's enough yet, but it's an excellent start. SMH, not quite there. So NVIDIA is there. QQQ is there. SPY is there, but not everything is. Let's go to our list. Let's go to our below 50 DMA list. Let's go through one by one. QQQ, check. Apple, nope. Not even below 2022 and 2021 highs. So Microsoft, same thing. We're looking here at the red line. So it's below the blue line. It's below the red line. Not enough for me yet. NVIDIA, back above. It's the king. There's news for it, though. Thank you for sharing, Liz. Tesla, nope. SMH, nope. ARC, nope. DAX, nope. Emerging markets, hey, it's held on to the 200 DMA, but nope. Nikkei, nope. So there's a lot of sad charts out there. So if you want to understand the story very simply, I'm going to repeat myself again, and hopefully you're going to listen. If the S&P falls below the 50 DMA for 2 consecutive daily closes, that likely means that QQQ is now falling back below, NVIDIA is below, Apple is still below, Microsoft is still below, the DAX is still below, and the Nikkei is still below, and the emerging markets is still below. So if the US is the only game in town right now for major indices or indexes, which is still above the 50, man, we better make sure we pay attention to this. Why? Staircase up, elevator down, baby. We don't want to be caught on that elevator down. That is really going to hurt. Woof. Okay, moving forward. So we understand the backdrop right now. And then the last thing I'll note here is that there is still, so we're about halfway through the month, give or take a day or two. We're going to pop back here to SPX. We're going to look at our monthly chart, and we're just going to see whether or not it's close enough or not. So I would say that going back to this previous red bar, bearish engulfing candle, but it does not close below the low. That's different than what we have here. We have a tight inside bar. So technically, the monthly is just in consolidation. It's not actually broken bullish. And it just bounced off this previous top. 4458, what's our low? 4443. So that just looks like a bounce off the real bodies. That's what it looks like to me so far. Half of the month is halfway through. Are we going to go downtown for the rest of the month? Or are we going uptown? Please make sure to let me know in the comments. All right, so that's the last part there. And now here's the good stuff. Here's the Michael Burry puts. Let's see if we can identify what he's been buying. And this is through our platform. So with that 14 free days, you can also get access to this platform. But anyways, let's jump in and see what we got here. So what we have to first of all note is that this is notional value, which just means it's the underlying valuation of the market if he was to get in. How many contracts did he buy? The firm, let me just double check here. I think it was 20,000. I'm not sure if it's in this article here. I know he has 20,000 contracts. So anyways, here's what I did. I went here to SPY, which is what he's looking to short. I went back to June 1. So here we're showing option flow for June 6th to August 14th, basically going back to June 1 till today. We can look and see that, oh my goodness, 7.44 put call ratio. That's Mr. Michael Burry. We're going to click on put just to look at those puts. Might take a second to load because we're loading up quite a bit of data. And we're going to sort by the premium, right, by the premium here. So we click on premium. It was already sorted by premium. We'll give it a second here to load. And what do we know? Just give me one more second here, make sure it loads up. All right, well, if he's buying 20,000 contracts, we have to first of all try to understand what he's doing. And I've watched him short Tesla before. He goes deep in the money. So you should already see what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for I'm looking for anything that's unusual. And I see something unusual here. It's the 720 put on SPY in a block that was that's purchased for June 19th, 2024. If we go to the options chain here too, man, he's deep in the money, right? He's so deep. Oh my goodness. So where's the puts here? Hold on. Is that not showing the right number here? So 720 put. Let's go up to here. Something's wrong with the open interest here. But anyways, these are basically so deep in the money. I think this is him. And the reason why I think it's him is because there's $300 and some extra on top of here, right? Roughly $300. And we look at the premium here, 16 million. And we look back to the date it started. Well, they've been buying these 720s for quite some time. There's a purchase. Let me just see if I can find it here. Where it started. So 720 goes back here to, we're sorting by premium, but these ones here go back to August 2nd. Let's just go to the top. So we got, here we got June 29th. Here we got July 19, July 20, July 12, July 20, June 29, July 7. Every day they're like, hey, 10 mil, 10 mil, 10 million, 10 million, 10 million, 10 million. You can see the price that we're buying it at too. They're buying it at 437, 455, 446. So if we now just sort by spot, we can also just note and see what he's actually been trying to get. And for me, with SPY currently at about, let me just go back to my YouTube list. We're currently at about 448, which means he's been shorting lower than we are right now. Sorry, spot. So 459, 459, 458, right? Let's just go back here to the premium, sorry. Sorry for bouncing around so much too. I'm trying to do this on the fly. So these were shorted at 455, 452, 446, 438, 440, 428. So I would call it around roughly where we are right now. So Michael Burry's put on a massive short. I don't know if this is insurance or if this is more, but that's the strike it looks like. This has the fingerprint of Michael Burry. So it's the only thing that's unusual, large enough to cover more than $1 billion short. And if you guys like, I can go through that same analysis for QQQ tomorrow. If not, we now have our weekend video now queued up here on the left-hand side. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you have any feedback, questions, comments, make sure to drop those and I will make an effort to look over all of them. If not, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you.